Hi, I'm Almark. For a while now, I've been escaping social media, and it started with not being heard for a while. And I put out one video just a little while ago talking about how social media wasn't helping people, not helping the musician and all that. But since that time, I have not only tapered off from using it, but completely stopped using it for my music. I think I'm a lot happier now. It can rob your mind and take you away from your creativity. And it was built on the basis of being like a slot machine in Vegas. A lot of the applications nowadays are being made under this, if you read about it. And for a musician, that's very important not to have yourself be distracted. And I think the escape has really, helped my mind to breathe. Literally, I'm thinking clearer. The process is kind of like a long thing over the years. We go from thinking it's some sort of, unique tool for our arsenal, but it kind of eats away at you. Even though I use desktop only, it doesn't matter. Your mind can be drifted toward looking at your second screen, as I have, and you're working on a song, and the burst of inspiration comes and you look at your screen and it takes away your time and your effort. The more that we focus on what we're doing, it doesn't matter if it's music, if it's artwork, whatever, and stop looking at something else, the better off we are. They have robbed our creativity from us, and I think that's really unfortunate. But there's a lot of aggression behind leaving social media. There's also a lot of people who put peer pressure on you, even online. They like to make you stick around. They say you should keep going. Well, after a while, you don't want to do it anymore. It's like a bad relationship. It was for me. And I might have found connections now and then over the years, but it was becoming very taxing on my mind. So I had to leave it alone. Now, my stuff is still there. My old posts, threads, even Twitter. I leave it as a placeholder, but it has no longer served me. Since I started focusing on YouTube, I actually have interaction with people. Interaction is what creates connection. If you don't have that, you're never going to move forward with anything in life. Since everyone's relying on the internet these days, what else are you going to do? Go outside and hand out pamphlets to people and leaflets? It wouldn't do you any good. People are too glued to their phone these days. And some ideas are coming to my mind, and I'm getting a sense of clarity. Philosophically speaking, I would say that there comes something from leaving the abusive center, which was social media, directing my attention to it, hoping that maybe I might get someone to talk to me. I wasn't the kind of person that wanted likes. I wanted communication. When the communication didn't come anymore, I started wondering why. I've written many posts on my blog in my angst and frustration over the years. I have been slowly leaving it, and the way to leave it is through time. If you struggle with it, you can leave it. Like any bad relationship, you can leave it. No one is forcing you to stick around. It's up to you to go. How do you go? You begin to realize that it's not helping you. You begin to realize that it's hurting your mind, it's hurting your psyche, and it becomes a waste of time constantly looking wondering if someone's going to talk to you. That's not good for your mind. I don't think it's a permanent thing. I think it's only temporary. Once we stop something, we can heal. So I realize that some people are very addicted to it. But if you are at the point where you hate it. And learn to hate it. Because what that is that your mind is pulling away from it. And it's time to do something better. Time to devote yourself to your music. Devote yourself to your friends. Devote yourself to anything. God. Devote yourself to something else besides that thing that these corporations continually direct our mind to. Musicians aren't supposed to be like that. If the musicians of yesterday had something that bad directing their mind to them, they would have never written the greatest songs we've heard for the last 40 years. I think the internet has really robbed people of their creativity. You get this sense of feeling like you're going to have to record something for somebody, or you're going to have to post something, you're going to have to say something, you're going to have to speak your life in a text document or a text prompt. No one's they might not even see it. I used to spend 5 minutes articulating my posts on Twitter a long time ago, just to be sure that it looked right. What a waste of time. Think of all the thousands of hours that you've worked on social media, try to get attention from people, and it never works. Well, you know that's why. The algorithm, the walled garden, the oligarchs of tech industry. We weren't supposed to be pushed down that hard. So as I've been escaping simply by not interacting anymore, I just don't interact. I choose to not use it. And that's the first step. There's a feeling of betrayal, because these are all things happening in the mind. Some people might say, well, that's just silly. No, it's not silly. Tyranny in any form is tyranny. And if you're dealing with it, don't ignore it. Just walk away. That's what I did. I'm thankful that now I can think and I can make music again. And since my loss in 2018 from losing my father, I didn't want to write music anymore. Not for a while. All I did was relax. Try to deal with my grief. The internet can be a great tool if used in the right hands, but under the wrong motivations, it can be a real problem. I often see a lot of people really glued to themselves and taking pictures, and we're living in a me generation. Now, I'm old enough to remember that we never had that back in the 1990s. Growing up in high school, I never had that. And I was born in 1977. So, Generation X was a different generation than today. We didn't rely on the internet. We used it. It was just starting in the 1990s. Or I remember when I first got on it in 1997, and I loved it. Because it was something new and exciting, and I could meet people. Granted, they were really bad quality. Sometimes you could talk on voice. It was mostly voice in those days. In fact, video was very experimental in those days. The bitrate just wasn't good enough. But when you could talk to people, it was a real exciting thing, And there were certain places like MPlayer and just other stuff. I think Microsoft had something back then. The internet was just starting out. Mostly it was nerds. They called people who joined the internet later on normies. I was not a normie. I was just one of the nerds. But the advent of the smartphone took it all away, took away the mystery of what we had back then. I could ramble on about this, but it's just the fact that, are you wanting to break away from it? Just do it. Everything as a tool should be used in moderation. But I have a theory behind why people act zombified out in the public, because they're so glued to this. And that's not good. More music is going to come forward soon. I really believe that. I have to have a reason to write it. So I'm working on some new music now. And I think that it's going to turn out to be something good. I've been slowly working on my music. It takes a long time to really get into the mindset of making that music. Most people don't realize that musicians sit in their head all day and make music. It might not come out onto paper, as I would say, as going straight from your mind to the screen, or however you write, whether you write with guitar or, or you sing in vocals, or use a device, use a DAW. It all comes from your mind. You're making music. When I make music, I put my whole being into it, and that wears me out mentally and spiritually. I cannot just write music. I have to experience it. If it doesn't come out that way, it doesn't move me. The reason I write the music the way I do is because I have to get the emotions out that are hiding deep inside of my soul. I can't just write simple music. I can't just say, well, I'm going to sit down and just play some chords on the keyboard. No. It has to be a sample I might come across in an old documentary or whatever, an old movie, TV show, and take that part of the track and make a swell out of it, where you hear this eeriness. You're taking the essence out of what you hear, not outright copying, but making it your own, turning it into an instrument of your own design through sound design. This is the kind of music I write, and I have a new song that I've been working on slowly, and Arielon is kind of like a continuation of the other songs. Years ago it was Implode, and then it was Blue Lights, and then it was Nova. So this one will definitely fit to the rest of them, and they were never really meant to be next to each other. And these are all singles written in between albums for the last, I'd say, 10 or 12 years. So I think that Arielon will eventually see the light. It was my first single since 2019. And lately I did Oracle. Not Oracle, but El Caro, which is Oracle backwards. And that is where I took the original video of Oracle and the original music and repurposed them, restructured them. Part of it's been reversed, part of it's forward, but it created this whole new idea. Sometimes I do that. Songs from the album Opposite Into the Poles, which was my last album in 2019. It had a song on there called Pinholes. And then Constellations was its reverse. So I think there's like the strange, alchemical, elemental properties that come out of these things. I truly believe that when I make the music, I pull from the ether or something. It comes out of this idea that, there's something more than just the music. There's the music between the notes. There's this place that I like to call the cone of silence, and I've only experienced it a few times. And so that may start to come out again as I heal from leaving social media alone. I don't exactly use it anymore except to just joke on my Facebook. I've left Threads alone because it's too hyper-political. And that just isn't good for me either. So I think in time, I'm not going to say when, I'm pretty sure it's going to be this year. The single Arielon will be out there. And I'm still working on my album, Thought Patterns and Documentary Form. I'm sorry, not Thought Patterns and Documentary Form. The scheme of things, further into the stratosphere, it's a continuation of the Scheme of Things 2016. It is a follow-up to it, where the man who was shell-shocked in the original album from the war of being a bomber pilot who dropped the bombs on the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, he is dealing with his shell shock. And that's what all those songs were in the beginning album. I realized that later on. But it was also a reflection of my own trouble when I lost my father. So I could relate to him. I could relate to the character in the first album. Now I'm living his life through the loss. And I can relate to the story much better that way. So the first album it started with, Tunnels, and then it went to Oracle, and then it went down from there into songs like U-235 and A-Test and all those. That was him in the military as a story, going through the motions, and later on, Parachutes was reliving kindergarten and watching the parachutes go up into the air and come back down over them as children, because we used to play that when I was in kindergarten. They had a huge parachute, and it was made of silk, and it was a real parachute. And they would, all these kids would gather around in a circle, and we would all throw the parachute up in the air, just like in my song. That's exactly what I say in my song. And we watch it come back down over us, and it was an epiphany. It's one of the epiphanies of my life. So I try to encapsulate that in my music. I live off my memories since I was 6 years old. I remember many things, even up to 5. One thing from 5 years old. The memories I create or from my past come into my songs. Not to mention all the influences from the past. All the way up to the 70s. I have influences of 70s pop music, and it's just so much to the down-tempo side and the industrial, EBM. It just becomes something. So this next album after Arielon single is going to start really ramping up better, because my mind's going to be clear as I'm dealing with the loss and the grief that's going away from all the years of it. So I'm looking forward to the future in that, and I hope you keep up with my channel, and I'm sure I'll have some more stuff to talk about soon. Thank you.